Hello everyone, it is Jebro again with another Marvel Snap video. Don't know why I do the finger things, it's just something I do, it's okay. This is one of my favorite builds to play, or decks to play in Marvel Snap. It's discard decks. Discard decks are fun. There are a bunch of them you can play. There's obviously like some mainstays in discard decks, which are, you know, pretty much part and parcel of what you will be doing. There'll be like cards like Apocalypse, Dracula, Morbius. Well, actually, probably Morbius and Apocalypse are probably the main two ones. Then the combination of like Swarm, Colleen, Wing, and you know, otherwise there are some pretty, you know, you can mix and match, and there's a bunch of discard cards now as well. Like there's been more added in the game like for a while, but there's things like Black Bolt, which, you know, discard the enemies cards. You've got like Silver Samurai is actually potentially a really good one, but would be good in combination with something like Stature and Black Bolt, for example, if you want to get rid of their cards. And that would be better with things like where is he? Moon Knight, there we go. So we've gone for mostly discarding our cards rather than the enemy's cards. Now the reason why is because we want to build up things like Morbius, and we want to make Apocalypse huge, massive. I am going to go through the build, but let me know what you think about discard decks. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'd muchly appreciate it if you could. Trying to get this channel off the ground. I've been a content creator for a long time, and I started Marvel Snap thinking, hey, why not? Let's play some Marvel Snap, a game I really enjoy, and just start a YouTube channel. Anyway, here's the build. Sunspot is look at that, it's beautiful Sunspot, yeah. Oh, I've just called this m.o.d.o.k because it's a m.o.d.o.k discard deck. It's not really a very good name, but it is what it is. I just m.o.d.o.k, discard m.o.d.o.k at the top. Call it whatever you damn well want. Sunspot. You get an energy. Each energy you do not use, you get +1 power. This is pretty good in like nearly every deck there is, unless you're using every single energy. Can easily get killed by something like, you know, Killmonger or whatever, just by doing some AoE like 1 damage, or, you know, A-lifts or whatever. But to be honest, just a nice additional card that gets some passive power going through the turns as you play some of these cards off, because sometimes you have a spare energy or two, and really it's just a nice little bumping card there, which I just made up the name, I don't know what that means. Morbius is really good. Ongoing +2 power for each card discarded in the game. So every single time you discard a card, that's +2 power. So that will count obviously for Wolverine. So normally you will always, more often than not, use Colleen Wing with Wolverine or with Swarm. Wolverine is going to get +2 power when he jumps into the game. Now this is up to you if you do use this. You could go for something like Moon Knight, maybe. You could go for something else like maybe Gambit. Blade is now really good and would have a lot of value in the Sunspot spot. Sorry. Now the reason why is because Blade has been changed and is 1 free, but discard the rightmost card from your hand. So you could have a Wolverine or a Swarm, and that could help get rid of one of those 2 cards, as well as, you know, Apocalypse as well, which is really good. So I would maybe even think about switching in Blade for Sunspot, but Sunspot has always been a nice one in there. I just wanted to keep him because I've still been winning. This is probably my best win-loss ratio. Other than the Stand Tall deck, which I've been using this season as well, which is in my other builds. Go and check that out. Swarm is really good. You can literally swarm the board. When this card is discarded from your hand, add 2 copies that cost 0 to your hand. So 0 energy, you pop those out. You can, you know, always leave 1 in your hand as well, because it will cost 0 to put out. And if you discard it, you can just smash out another 2 as well. And at last go, you could pop out, I've popped out like 5 or 6 of those swarms, along with, like, you know, an Apocalypse or whatever. Just make sure you've got enough room to put it on the board, because if you have something like Dracula, when at the end of the game discard a card from your hand, this has its power. If you've got an Apocalypse with like 16 to 20 power and you've got a Swarm, every time, I swear, we'll just take the Swarm with 3 power and you'll be screwed. Just make sure you don't pop it off Don't just like discard it too many times. So make sure you haven't got your hand completely flooded, because you want to make sure you get the Apocalypse power when you if you have Dracula in your deck. Don't forget as well, Colleen Wing, she will always discard the lowest cost card from your hand. So if it's going to be Wolverine or Swarm, it'll be one of the random ones. I don't think there's a priority order in terms of left to right. It really doesn't matter most of the time, it seems. Lady Sif is really, really good because she's going to discard the highest cost card from your hand, not your deck. So when you do use that, make sure you've got Apocalypse in there. So it hits Apocalypse, because if m.o.d.o.k is your highest energy card, you're kind of screwing yourself over. But just make sure that maybe you don't want a m.o.d.o.k. Maybe that's okay. But there's nowhere to bring it back. Okay. Well, the end, unless you had like, you know, oh my god, forgot about that. Like Hela or something. Someone that can bring, or Ghost Rider, like someone that can bring a discarded card back into the game. We haven't got those cards in the game, so you got to be very careful. Swordmaster, really, really high power. Look at this pixel version, love it. It's a really random card. It's a random card, so just be wary that that's going to happen. Make sure there's nothing in your hand which you really don't want to get rid of. I do that all the time, mess myself over. And pop that out, and you get a nice bumper power, as well as discarding a card you might need to get rid of, like Apocalypse, for example. Then you got Dracula. I always pop him out if I can, if I know, especially if I've got Apocalypse in there as well, because I know I'm going to get an extra 2 power added to Morbius, because you will discard the card in your hand as well as using their power. And Apocalypse will sit in your deck still with an extra 4 power from being discarded as well. So really, really nice. Hellcow is a nice power boost. There was 6, but also discards 2 hands. Again, they're random cards. That's what it says on the tin. m.o.d.o.k, discard your entire hand. So if you've got things like Apocalypse, you've got things like Wolverine and Swarm in there. Oh, it's beautiful. So good. And don't forget, every single card you discard there, you're going to get +2 power for Morbius. So Morbius can end up like easily as powerful as Apocalypse sometimes. It normally sits around 12 or to 14, depending on how often you get, well, how early you get him out in the game though. So just be careful. Apocalypse as well, even if you don't hit him, is a 6/8 big power. But if you're going to pop out power, then you'll probably just go for Chavez as well. So don't forget, every single time you discard Apocalypse, you're going to get +4 on that bad boy. It's a really big boost. Also, m.o.d.o.k, the animation for him when he discards all your hand is wicked. The reason why we play America Chavez, and people don't seem to really explain this very well in decks, is because you do not draw this until you have your 6th turn, and you will draw it every single time. So you've got more chance of pulling all of these cards in turn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Otherwise, you've got all of the cards in the deck there to be pulled. Well, not in the deck, but you know, the ones that haven't been pulled so far. You've got more chance of you've got more cards to pick from. Basically, it narrows down the amount of cards you can pick from, and you will always make sure it basically pulls in the cards you really want to pack into your hand to get onto the board and play. Really well explained there, because it's 12 a.m. But that's basically why America Chavez is in there, and also she is still 6'9". So if you do have that point where you didn't even get Apocalypse out, and you got Dracula, you'll still get the 2 power from Morbius, and you'll get the 9 there. So you get 11 powers worth out of her anyway, even if she pops out with Dracula. So not too bad again in the end. Really fun build, love it. Wolverine, I think, is 2 cards that I think I would like to swap should I think it's necessary. Wolverine and Sunspot, but you do get, like, Wolverine does get 2 power extra. And if he gets this, if you pop him on like if he accidentally like pops out onto, like, you know, all cards are destroyed on turn 3 or whatever, you know, or if there are more cards than 1 here on this location, you know, all the cards will be destroyed, etc, etc. You know, there's things where he can pump up to like 6 or 8 power. Sometimes that happens. Give it a bash, let me know what you think. I'll maybe maybe a Ghost Rider could go in there as well instead of being something like Swordmaster, just in case you discarded something that you didn't want to discard. But when you start heading up to the 4s, you know you're at Hell Cow, Dracula. Not sure it's worth it. If you're going to pull Ghost Rider out, just run a Hella build as well and kind of go through it that way. Great variant there as well. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you soon. In the next 4 days or so, I will pop up some gameplay. Let me know what you think about the build. If I could do this a little bit better, maybe give you some more time codes and whatnot in the description, something, or whatever you think might be more helpful for you. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. Have a good one. And I'll see you soon. Bye bye for now.